Hello, my name is Dale Anthony Wilhite. I'm in Montrose, Colorado at the moment. If you want to find out anything about me, go to MySpace where I have a page. This here is about John Wayne, the late great John Wayne, that is, the actor, the cowboy, the great American icon. And I thought I'd provide some information about John Wayne that maybe you didn't know about. Of course, all of it comes from his autobiography. And of course, you can go online and read that anytime you like, but I'll save you a little time here. And if you like John Wayne as much as I did, and I'd given anything if I could have ever met the man. Unfortunately, I was 19 years old when he died, and I would have loved to have met this man, seen this man anywhere, in a show or in Vegas or something like that. But unfortunately, that was not to be the case. But all the stuff I have here is pretty good. It's good things. I have nothing negative to say about the man. I still think he's an American icon. And just to back that up, just how much of an icon he is, did you know, for instance, that Nikita Khrushchev in the early 60s met John Wayne when he was visiting the United States, I believe, and told John Wayne to his face that Joseph Stalin, the late Joseph Stalin then, the premier of Russia, president, thug, dictator, I just call him a dictator, and Mao Zedong, the dictator of China, communist thug and murderer, both had put a hit out on John Wayne. They wanted John Wayne dead. Why? Because he was an American icon. He was a symbol of resistance to communism, and they wanted to exterminate him. Actually, Nikita Khrushchev rescinded that order, and he told John Wayne dead when he took over, but Mao Zedong did not, and apparently that order was, I guess, just never carried out after his death. I don't think they were all that serious about it because I think they really wanted to kill John Wayne. They probably could have, and I don't think it would have started World War III, but it would have been very damaging to, from the United States point of view, in its icy relationships with China and the Soviet Union. But yeah, they tried to kill him, and that's basically, as I've also put on MySpace, YouTube, and other videos. That's something Osama bin Laden is probably going to try to do here in America. He's probably going to try to wipe out as many American icons and probably foreign icons, since there's so many foreign actors and actresses that live and work in the United States, when they gather together at some awards banquet. And they will probably, I have a feeling that the terrorists are going to attack, the Islamic terrorists, are going to attack one day when all of these entertainers come into one room or one building, for some awards banquet or something, and that's when they'll strike. You would think that our government would be aware of it. I would find it hard to believe they don't. You would think all these entertainers and musicians out there would be aware of this. I don't hear anything about it, but it's just begs to reckon that this is what's going to happen. And you may one day be watching some live awards show, and boom, everything may just blow up. And all of these entertainers that we know, and a lot of them American icons and icons from other countries, entertainment and musician icons from other countries, are all dead. And that would be a great blow to to the American public and to the West as a whole. And Osama bin Laden knows that. And just watch, it's going to happen unless these entertainers and musicians get really smart and begin to protect themselves. Anyhow, John Wayne once said he was a socialist, but that was in his college years. He was basically a liberal at the beginning of his career, but that might have been due to the fact that John Ford, who basically hired him, and was behind a lot of his movies, was a liberal Democrat. But it was like, I think, in the 40s and 50s, John Wayne began to realize that these people didn't represent his views, the Democrats did, and so he became a Republican. The name Duke comes from his dog Duke. He used to have a dog that went everywhere with him in California. It's called an Airedale dog, and so that's how John Wayne got his name Duke. And of course, John Wayne came from Iowa, and his parents moved to California, I think, because his father was a pharmacist and had some health problems. Oh yeah, one of the best ones I like is where John Wayne knocked out one of Frank Sinatra's bodyguards. It was once a party down below a room in a hotel room in Las Vegas, where John Wayne was sleeping in one room, and down below there was a party taking place being held by Frank Sinatra. And John Wayne kept calling and asked him to quiet down, and they would for a few minutes, and then it would go back up. So he went down there, knocked on the door, bodyguard answered it, and John Wayne told him to, quiet it down. Bodyguard said, "Well, you can't talk to me that way. This is, you can't talk to Frank Sinatra that way." And John Wayne, in his movies roles that he's so well known for, turned around, started to walk away, then backhanded the bodyguard, and then smashed a chair over his head, knocking him out. How he didn't get arrested, I don't know. Clint Eastwood once wrote John Wayne and asked him to, he'd like him and John Wayne to appear together in a movie. John Wayne refused because he said that he wrote back to Clint Eastwood and said that your movies are just too violent for me. So they never appeared in a movie together. Did a lot of movies, well, at least 3 movies with Kirk Douglas, but him and Kirk Douglas basically didn't like each other, and it was for political reasons. They say that John Wayne was a bit of a racist, the same thing he said about Jimmy Stewart, but these men lived in a certain time when racism was prevalent, and it's probably just part of the culture then. But keep in mind that John Wayne was best friends with Sammy Davis Jr. in his latter years, and he also had 3 wives who were all of Latin descent. One thing John Wayne wasn't is a Ku Klux Klan member. He was not a racist in any sense. If you're a racist, you'd only marry somebody that's white, if you're a white racist, that is. He married 3 ladies that were of Latin descent, His favorite movie was The Searchers, and he named one of his sons Ethan after the character Ethan, which he betrayed. He was once offered the role in the TV show Gunsmoke, but he actually gave it over to James Arness because he didn't want to do, television. And I think we all know that worked out pretty good. James Arness did a magnificent job, and it's hard to imagine anybody else in that role. I think from about somewhere in the 30s or early 40s, John Wayne started wearing a little hairpiece. A lot of people don't know that, John Travolta wears a hairpiece. And the actor that played Sam Malone in Cheers, whose name right at the moment I forget, also wore a hairpiece. In the movie True Grit, which he actually personally asked for Glenn Campbell to be his co-star in the one of my favorite movies of all time, True Grit. But did you know that that Elvis Presley was actually being considered for that role? That would be very interesting to see if Elvis Presley had gotten that role instead of Glenn Campbell. Although Glenn Campbell did a magnificent job, even though he doesn't think he did so, because he said he's never acted before. But he did a magnificent job. But it would have been interesting had Elvis Presley gotten that role. That would have been a very interesting fact. He considered Marina O'Hara his best friend, and she pretty well demonstrated after his death that she was his best friend. Again, John Wayne was an American icon. He never served in World War II. He did opt out because he had 4 kids at the time. He was called a coward and sometimes got booed off the stage, when he went to entertain the troops. I don't know if he was a coward or not. I don't think so. But he did not serve, although Henry Fonda did serve, and Jimmy Stewart did serve. Jimmy Stewart, I think, became almost a general or a colonel or general at the time, but he was mostly in the reserves when he got out of World War II. So anyway, I have to stop it here. This thing will only go for 10 minutes. But I just thought I'd offer some things about the late, great John Wayne that I thought you might find interesting, and hope you did. But if I were you, can go online and read his autobiography, and you'll find some very interesting facts in there. It's really, really interesting. Thank you for your time. My name is Dale Wilhite, and hope I enlightened you some, and hope that John Wayne's your favorite actor.